Hello, I'm Mathieu from Ludovox.fr, and today I'm going to give you an overview of Solenia. So Solenia is a pick-up and delivery game for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and it plays for 30 to 45 minutes. This is a game in which you are going to pick up resources in daytime to ship them to the nighttime. Some resources are rarer in the nighttime and some other are rarer in the daytime, so you want to create a nice cycle to ship those resources. You do that to gain victory points. The one with the most victory points is going to win at the end of the game. Every player has their own player board and their deck of 16 cards, which are all the same among the players. You're going to play those cards as actions. Basically, every player is going to get 16 actions, after what people are going to count up scores. So how do you play against Solenia? Basically, your turn is playing a card, drawing a card, and then passing on to the next player. The cards are going to give you benefits and allow you to collect resources. Also, they are going to allow you to ship resources. So where to play a card is basically the trick of the game. You play a card on a free space, which is unoccupied by another card. You may play a card under the ship, or you may play a card around the ship. So for example, I could play this card there. But I could also play a card around one of the cards that I had previously placed. So if I had to play a card again, I could play that card here, under the ship, or there, because it's around that card. But other people can block me. So for example, another player might do this, and another player might do that. And then I could not go to these spaces, and I could not play there unless I could expand my trip. This is an option that's going to be paid for with the resources that you're going to hold. Basically, you can move up 1 extra space per resource you discard. So once you have placed your card, so let's imagine that I just have placed this one, I'm going to get resources for it. So the punch in the card is very important because it shows what type of resource that you get. So in this case, it's stone, and I'm going to get 1 stone because there is a 1 on the top half of the card. The bottom half of the card is the expulsion effect, and it triggers when the cards should move away because the board is going to move. I told you it's modular. So when does it move? Basically, let's imagine that we have done a few other things. For instance, this, and then I'm going to play a card with a 0 on it. 0 cards don't allow you to pick up any resources because they have a 0 on them, but they are going to have, basically, they are going to move the ship forward, and the ship should always be in the middle of the board. This means that this strip has to move to the other side and to be flipped to match daytime and nighttime. So in this case, these cards are going to be removed from the game and they are going to be expulsed, and that's when you trigger the expulsion boxes. In the case of this one, I'm just going to get extra resources. In the case of this one, I might get victory points based on certain conditions. So then I remove the cards. Every player has to trigger their own cards and get the benefits from their own cards. Then we remove the strip, flip it, and place it on the other side. This means that now the ship is at the center of the board. So that's the basic gist of Solenia. I told you how to get resources. Now, I didn't tell you how to ship those resources. To ship resources, you're just going to play a card on a city, and you're going to ship resources to that city. So let's imagine I have a few more resources. So for example, I have this. So first thing, I'm going to resolve the placement of the card. I'm going to get a victory point because cities award you victory points. So I'm going to take a gold star, and then I'm going to be able to fulfill a contract, a shipping contract. So I might take a daytime because I am in the daytime city. If I were in a nighttime city, I would take a night tile, or I wouldn't be able to take a daytime if I were in the night areas. So in this case, I'm going to spend 2 waters and a stone to get this contract. I'm going to place it on the end of my ship, not at the nose, and this is going to reward me with a certain number of resources. So the further I go on a line, the better, the more interesting it gets. Then I'm going to replace it, and now you know how to deliver in Solenia. So basically we are going to do this over 16 rounds, and then after that we are going to count up the victory points to see who has the biggest score and wins. So to count up the points, you are going to add up the tokens, the star tokens that you have collected during the game, the value of the contract tiles that you have collected. You're going to get bonuses for pairs of day and night that you have got, and also if you got really far on the track, you're going to have additional victory points there. So as I told you, the highest score is the winner, and that's it. You know the basics of Solenia. You also have a solo mode that you can discover in the box. Solenia is a game about picking up resources in daytime or nighttime, because they are rarer in the other half of the board, and the board is going to move quite a lot. So you need to think ahead and plan ahead what resources to get, what resources to ship. So now bye bye, and see you on LudoVox.fi.